Oh, oh, what an episode that was, man. Brilliant. Loved it. Absolutely loved that episode of The Book of Boba Fett. Overhauled by The Mandalorian, whatever. It's just a brilliant show now. Really good. You did see Boba Fett in this episode, but I've got my notes here. I've only watched it once, but I can't wait to see that again. So I'm going to crack on. Just beautiful music. Perfect balance of characters. Deepfake was great. So this is going to be full-on spoilers now. When we talk about deepfake, we're talking about Luke Skywalker being back. And I was always a bit nervous about him being back, and I wasn't expecting him today. I don't know. I've not been looking at any rumours about the show, really, and people talking about... If there's a video where they say, oh, you know, Rumourville, whatever, I don't want to watch that because I just want to see it as it happens for real, and I haven't really heard... I knew that we'd see Luke maybe in Mando 3, but not in this show, and that was really good. And also the deepfake was sorted. I'm really skipping the gun here, man. I'm jumping the gun. Let's talk about from the very beginning. We start off with Cobb Vanth on Tatooine, which is really cool. I like that whole thing of the Western thing. But it depends who you talk to. There's a few people who will criticise and say, oh, it's just a Western, you know, it's been done a million times before. But I'm sorry. I don't really do Westerns or cowboy films or whatever, but... there's something pretty cool about that whole vibe anyway, and it works in Star Wars, and it was good seeing Cobb Vanth back. He didn't have a hat on, but somebody else wore a hat later on. I'll tell you in a minute who did. Anyway, that was at the very end of the episode. We go back to Cobb Vanth. But at the very, very beginning, he's talking to some Spice guys, and I love the dialogue there. He must be the smart one, stuff like that, you know, wise choice. He's pretty good with a gun, is Cobb Vanth. He's taken on 4 of them. And then we open up a box of spice, and then the titles hit. Book of Boba Fett. Episode 6 is off and running. Then we cut to the N1 starfighter, and he's flying towards a jungle planet. It's quite a nice looking planet, actually. Wow, it could even be that planet where Leia and Luke were on a planet in the Rise of Skywalker. I'm sure they were fighting. It was nighttime, and they were training. He was training Leia there, wasn't he? But I wonder if that's before or after she left the Order. Who knows? Timeline, please. I need to know that. But he's training Grogu. They're building a temple. The Mandalorian, obviously, we see him first, and he gets out of the N1 fighter, and we see R2-D2, and he sort of chirps and beeps and boops, just like he did in the original trilogy. Mandalorian follows him, and then he shuts down. And it's a bit weird. It's like, why have you shut down R2? And then obviously Mando's looking at what's going on, and they're building this temple. And then we see Luke training Grogu, which was really good. And as I said earlier, the deep fake I thought was really, really good. Much better than what you saw at the end of season 2 Mandalorian. It wasn't perfect. There was a couple of shots I thought winced a little bit, you know, a bit like when I watched, you know, back when I watched Rogue One. When I first saw Tarkin, I was blown away, but the longer he was on the screen, I was like, oh, you got it, that's good, and oh, that wasn't so good. You got it again, that looks like Tarkin, it looks a bit weird, you know what I mean? And it was the same with Luke today, and there's a few specific shots of Luke which didn't work. Some of them I thought, wow, that's really good, so I presume they've got the dude working for Lucasfilm, haven't they? I've forgotten his name, forgive me, as I do this impromptu sort of review after I've watched it once. The guy who they got off YouTube, the deepfake extraordinaire, I think this is his work. Am I right? I don't know. I presume it is. So he's training Grogu. He puts his hand on his head, and he says to him about his homeworld, and you think, oh my god, we don't want to know what his homeworld is. We want that to be a secret, you know, for Yoda and all that. But he forces him to, not forces him, that doesn't sound right, but he says, let me help you to remember, or something like that. And he puts his hand on Grogu's head, and we get this awesome flashback of it was just a brilliant episode. I can't wait to watch this again. I'm finishing this review and I'm running downstairs. I'm going to eat and I'm going to watch it again. But you see the 501st, and Grogu is there, and there's a couple of Jedi. I didn't recognise them. Somebody will have noticed who they are, but again, I've only seen it once. But the 501st, man, all of them, and it was quite a long shot of them all shooting towards the Jedi, but I don't know how Grogu got out of there, but it looked like they were going to go and get him next. Then we cut back to Luke and Grogu again, and Luke says to him, welcome back. And bits. That shot there, I thought that was a dodgy shot of Luke. It didn't look like Mark Hamill at all. I was like, well, didn't work, that one. However, it must be a difficult task, deep faking like that, I don't know, but still. Then we see Ahsoka. Ahsoka is there. I think, did we go back to Mandalorian? He's lying back, looking into the sky, he's sleeping, waiting for something to happen. And then Ahsoka's there, and that was really good seeing her again. I think she's really, really good. Rosario Dawson, brilliant. We see her talking to the Mandalorian about the attachment issue and who do you want to see Grogu for? Is it for yourself? Or is it for him? Is it going to help him? And the whole thing of that. Then we cut back to Luke training. I'm just following my notes here, by the way, from earlier when I watched it. Luke is training Grogu, and this I thought was brilliant. I remember saying out loud, wow, amazing, because Luke's got a backpack on and Grogu in the backpack. That was beautiful. Visual Star Wars stuff, man. It was just awesome. The whole episode. It's like when you watch something and it really works and you're just swimming around in a sea of pure Star Wars joy. And it was an experience watching that. I loved it. He's got the backpack on and then he shows him the training remote. That was really cool. And he's really good, Grogu. He's trying to encourage him earlier on to jump, and then he starts jumping when he realises he needs to avoid the training remote fire. So that was brilliant. There's a little bit of this brought a tear to my eye. It's very funny. I don't get emotional, really. The last time I got emotional watching anything was when Luke came back, and then Grogu got passed on by the Mandalorian. But, it was absolutely beautiful when they were talking about training Grogu, and Luke says, sometimes I wonder if his heart's in it, or something like that. And then she says, or someone says something about it's less training him, it's more getting him, it's more him remembering what he already knows. And then she says to him, you're so much like your father. And I thought that was amazing, that. I loved that. It was so nice. Because it's true, you forget. Periodically, momentarily, you kind of forget that she had worked side by side with Anakin. Snips and all of that, you know? Brilliant. Then that's enough of that planet. Then we move on back to Tatooine. You hear the Mandalorian guitar squeal, and then we are back on Tatooine, and he flies into the palace. And then there's the whole gang there. You see Boba there without his helmet. You see, Mando says, I'm here at the request of Boba Fett, or something like that. No, Fennec Shand, he says. And then Shand is there. Some of the group, the gang, the bloody mods are there as well. I don't like the mods. Whatever. They're in the gang. Something about that mods gang is just... It's just like a tiny injection of crap into what is pure brilliance, you know what I mean? I don't know what it is about that gang. They just are rubbish. Anyway. The Landon Knife gang, as Daniel Chark calls him. The mods are mentioned, so you don't get much of Boba Fett at all. That's pretty much it, you know. And then they're talking about whatever they're talking about, and then they're talking about needing muscle. And they said that we've got Black Krrsantan, and now we've got this is Din Djarin, and he's going to help us. And then he says about getting more of an army or people together, and he says I can help you with that. And I totally thought he was going to be getting somebody who was more trained than who he ended up going to speak to Cobb Vanth again to get his people involved. I mean, I thought that was a weak choice. I mean, these people have only just struggled through killing the Krayt Dragon, and it wasn't even them who did it. They were just sort of there as cannon fodder, really, almost. Do you know what I mean? But we went to see Cobb Vanth. He says to him, Cobb Vanth, before you see that, they fly over the Sandcrawler. The Sandcrawler has got the Krayt Dragon's skull on the top. That was excellent. Loved it. Vanth says to him, where's the little guy? Oh, no, in fact, no. Let me backtrack there. When Mandalorian arrives at Mos Pelgo, which is now apparently called Freetown, which I didn't like that name, he sees the deputy of the town, a little bit of a trigger-happy flyboy or whatever you want to call it, a bit trigger-happy, and he clearly looking for a fight, and then Vanth appears and says, no, stand aside or whatever, and then he talks to the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian explains the situation. The cantina looked different in there, by the way. The cantina looked like it had like a bone structure on the outside of it. I don't know. It did not look like the cantina of the Mos Pelgo cantina in season 2, but still, maybe they've done the interior. I don't know. But were they bones from the Krayt Dragon? Were they Krayt Dragon bones they've used to support the ceiling? I don't know. Who knows? That's why they say it's called Freetown now, and Why would they get involved in help? I mean, yeah, why would they get involved with helping the Mandalorian? You know, they lost a few lives surely fighting the Crate Dragon without getting involved in some other business. But they say, you know, that the whole spice trade is going to affect you and all this. And so we're getting close to the end of the episode here now. I like the way he said to Cobb Vanth, he said, you know, where's the little guy? Talking about Grogu, and he says he's gone back to his own folk. Own folk, I like that. But still, then you see a figure on the horizon, and Cobb Vanth tells everybody to get indoors, totally like a Western. He stands in the middle of the, whatever you call it, the town, and then this figure comes, emerges, and then you see exactly who it is. And it was a good moment again, and the episode was brilliant. The silhouette of, it was clearly Cad Bane. Love Cad Bane's voice. He sounded a little bit different though. It had the same kind of modulator on it, but it was more like Clint Eastwood or something like that. I don't know many Westerns. I've got some mates who love that kind of thing, but maybe I should watch a few of the classics. But so Cad Bane is there, and then, you know, despite his warning of getting everybody inside, the trigger happy dude comes out. So it's like 2-on-1, and you can see he's really itching for this trigger. Cad Bane shoots. He shoots down Cobb Vanth. Actually, we don't know if he's dead or not yet, because he only shot him once, but he shot the other guy several times. He blew him away. But before he shot him, I'm sure he said, Cobb Vanth. He said his name. He knew his name. He said, and who might you be? And he said something about sticking his nose in. Don't stick your nose in. I'm not telling you my name, kind of thing. But then after he kills him or shoots him down, he makes a statement, Cad Bane, and he says, the Syndicate belongs to Tatooine. So that's the Pike Syndicate, obviously, and the spice trade. And he said, as long as the spice is running, everyone will be safe or something like that. So anyway, then we cut to an astromech drummer, which I thought was amazing, in the club in Mos Espa, with that Maitre D, whatever her name is. She's quite nice, I quite like her. She's, well, anyway, wait before I tell you what happens next. She's no longer. There's a droid in there. Some pikes go in with an ice cream maker, and then they walk out again, and then you knew what was going to happen next. You've left your... Boom! Bang! They took a bomb in there, and they blew the place up. So I presume now Max Rebo is dead, although that will be his second blast he survived, if he did live through that. But still, so that's obviously a little bit of a turf war brewing there. Hang on a minute, they've only got one more episode left. It's cooking now. I want them to do 10 episodes now and find out what's going on. Anyway, you know what I mean? Only one episode to wrap up what's happening here, although it might all flow into Mando Season 3, all of this, obviously. Then, before the end, or after the bomb, we have the training temple again. And they've obviously built it now. Those droids have built the temple, and inside is Grogu and Luke. So Luke and Grogu are in the temple, just sort of meditating, a bit of a callback to, you know, Mace Windu and Yoda in the prequels when they're at the top of the tower of the Jedi Temple. But basically, he gives Grogu a choice. He says, you know, you can have this lightsaber. And I thought it looked a bit short and familiar. And yes, it was Yoda's. It was Yoda's lightsaber. It was awesome. He fired it up and showed him. But then he also showed him the gift given by the Mandalorian, the armor. And he said, you know, you have to make a choice. You know, this life or that. But he gave him a little bit of reality. He said to him, you know, your problem almost is that you will live many lifetimes. So if you choose that way with him, what happens after that, you know, it'll be gone. He's better off going with Luke, and I kind of hope he does go with Luke, but I kind of want him to wear that armor in a way. Can he be a bit of a hybrid Jedi, a bit of a Mando Jedi? That'd be pretty cool, man. Awesome. Anyway, a really good episode. I've waffled on long enough there about that. I don't know how long this recording is, but it's probably as long as the bloody episode is anyway. But let me know your thoughts. I was overjoyed to see it, loved it. Let me know your thoughts below. Thank you for listening. I have been only one Kenobi. Only one. Out.